Yo, call me an iPhone the way I'm tracking you at all times. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Game Sketch. Today, and only today, we are here to talk about the Sonic genres my boy has yet to tackle. Over the span of his career, Sonic has tackled a lot of genres, from racing games to puzzle games, obviously most notably platformers, to even visual novels. But I do feel like there are a certain number of genres in the gaming industry that I would love to see Sonic fully take on. And so make sure to subscribe and let me know what your favorite most wanted options are after I tell you. All right, first and foremost, I want a Sonic fighting game so badly. Now I know what people are gonna say. Sonic the Fighters technically happened. Listen, I love Sonic the Fighters, but it's more of an old school arcade game. I want a proper Sonic fighting game. Now, in what way would I want it? I'm not sure, because I feel like there's three options they could go. I would love if Sonic went the arena fighter style, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero or Tenkaichi, or even Naruto Storm, where you kind of have a 3D arena, but it's over the top. You have to get some crazy cinematics. I think that would work. I would adore, obviously the dream would be an ArcSys/anime 2D fighter. Please, that would be incredible. How has Sonic never been in one of those, or at least as guest character in one or something? I think, to me, that feels like the most obvious and the one I want so badly, and I would kill for it. And the best part is Sonic's character roster is so expanded that I feel like it could be worth it. The best example of this Sonic fan game, Sonic Smackdown, that shows how incredible a 2D Sonic fighter could be. They've got a great cast of characters, an anime style, and I almost wish Sega would just fund these guys and give them the go to be like, hey, here's some more money, work on some more animations, make this go crazy, we trust you guys, lock in. I would even adore if Sega was like, fuck it, we are deadass gonna make a sequel to Sonic the Fighters and make it look funny, low poly with HD models. Just make a silly little game to drop. I don't know, I feel like the fighting game genre makes so much sense with Sonic, especially like think about how many sprite animations of Sonic fights we've gotten over the years. People like Sonic fighting, and I think it needs to happen at some point, Sega. Especially when our only fighting game representation for the character is Smash, which everybody makes fun of already for his moveset just being spin dashes. Another genre I would love to see Sonic tackle would be a Warriors game. You all know how the Warriors games are, especially after Nintendo did it, where you just have these hordes of enemies you're fighting. While it might not be the most exciting genre, it often is really fun, and I would adore seeing the Sonic characters just bash so many enemies. Could you imagine like just 100 Eggman bots and you're just unlocking really cool moves and you're using Sonic Frontiers moveset and moves from across the series? And I would adore if they treated it like Hyrule Warriors, a Hyrule edition or whatever, where it is just a love letter to the series. Like have classic Sonic in there, modern classic, fuck it, drop Boom in there, movie Sonic, have Knuckles from the old school era, have new Knuckles, have Cowboy Knuckles, have like a bunch of variations of all the characters, have Shadow. Like you could really make a banger Warriors game out of Sonic, and you can make it really fun too, because I feel like a lot of Warrior games have you go from one tower to another, and the idea of speeding to one area from another with Sonic speed and fighting enemies along the way and running past things. I just feel like, I don't know, the Warriors game for Sonic could be a good way to showcase the action of the series while having a fun sort of strategy aspect with the Warriors tower defense mechanics. Next up on the more fun side, I would love a proper party game. Now, yes, we have Sonic Shuffle from back in the day, which I think is a good concept, but I want something new and modern. And I feel like with Sonic, we also got tapped into that with Sonic and the Secret Rings. That mode had a little party game mode in it, and I just would love if Sega just fleshed this out and gave us a proper Sonic party game. And you'd think they would have done it with how many spin-offs they've done with Sonic, with stuff like tennis or kart or even puzzles, like all this stuff, but still no party game is kind of surreal to me. It feels so easy to have mini games where, running to the goal as fast as possible, spin dashing onto the most enemies if you can, doing some crazy stuff with a bunch of characters. Like I feel like they could Mario Partyify the shit out of Sonic, and I think it would be such a good game. Bro, next one, hear me out on this, an actual 2D sprite based beat 'em up. Oh my god, bro, think about it. Think of this, Scott Pilgrim the game in the style of Sonic characters instead. That's it. Like just look at the game and tell me Sonic characters wouldn't fit so perfectly well here. I would adore this, if they had expanded models of the sprites from Sonic Battle with new animations in there. A game like this would be so fucking incredible. Not even just gameplay wise in that sense, but I would love, if it had a 2D art style, kind of like Streets of Rage. 4 did, but I would also love sprite based. Like whatever they do, I just feel like a 2D beat 'em up for Sonic just would work so well, especially when we've seen the success of that and TMNT and a bunch of the new 2D beat 'em ups that have been coming out lately. It just felt like the genre is finding its return, and I think Sonic would fit right at home there. Next up, how has this not happened? A Sonic rhythm game. Bro, the most consistent part of this entire franchise is its music. Like, we have been asking for a Sonic rhythm game forever, and we've seen Sonic songs in a bunch of games, like in arcades or Samba de Amigo or wherever the fuck, but the fact that Sonic of all franchises doesn't have a rhythm game is offensive, when the best part of the series by far, you could argue, is the music, right? The idea that we don't have one where you're just crossing across 3 lanes on the right notes, kind of like Kingdom Hearts did it with the rhythm game, or even just like a proper Miku-like rhythm game, especially when Sega has made rhythm games with stuff like Samba de Amigo or Hatsune Miku. Like, they have experience with rhythm games. They even made, I think, Rhythm Thief. I could be wrong, but that was them. But just like the idea that your most iconic music character, in a sense, does not have a rhythm game is baffling to me. One of the most shocking things that Sega hasn't tapped into, especially with how many remixes they casually drop. Like, this series is prone to that, and I would adore, imagine just, to me, that game could be a game as a service. There are so many Sonic songs that you could drop that game with 100 songs at launch and just keep adding more and more and more over time. I would gladly eat that shit up. Next one, a proper Metroidvania. Now, I know people have argued that Sonic Boom Fire and Ice on 3DS is kind of like a Metroidvania, but I would love if we really got a proper one that was, you know, just one massive map, and that you know, and you unlock different Sonic skills throughout it. Imagine, you know, unlocking the Stomp as you explore through an area and you get to different paths. Imagine unlocking even Tails as an assist to help you climb up the different areas, or you unlock the homing attack to help you attack different enemies at certain paths. Like, I feel like the idea of exploring this mega massive Sonic map that sort of works as a Metroidvania, where the more moves you get, the more you can find, I think is awesome. And we can kind of see some of that DNA with Metroid Prime, with how, you know, no, sorry, not Metroid Prime, Metroid Dread, or even the original Super Metroid, with how fast Samus goes with one of the upgrades. I feel like surrounding that idea with Sonic, with unlockable moves and unlockable things to make fights cooler, and you can even make it difficult. I'm not saying you got to make it Hollow Knight level difficulty, but even Metroid Dread like difficulty would be really cool. Now, some of that idea is difficult to do because I feel like it's the counter of Sonic, which is meant to be very open and exploration rewarding, but I feel like they could do it. There's a side of me that tells me a really good Sonic 2D Metroidvania game would be pretty fire. Next up, I will say I would like a proper live service Sonic game. Now, I know we have a bunch of the mobile games like your Sonic Dashes, your Sonic Speed Forces or whatever, but I would actually like a proper game that handles live service really well. And I think Sonic Speed Simulator, while is kind of an example of that, I feel like that one is just too egregious. Like, everything is extremely insanely monetized. They kind of are doing their own thing, but I would love Sega to hone and be like, all right, what if we just made one? And actually, the rumor is that they're working on one for mobile platforms that's going to be like a Fall Guys like, that adds costumes and platforming challenges, which, to me, I fuck with that. Like, I like the idea of them working on not even a 2D, a 3D Sonic game that's Fall Guys like, because that's what I would envision for Sonic. I would love a game that is just, you go and you do platforming challenges with friends, and I feel like that's what made Fall Guys so appealing. You know, it was a big battle royale where you could just do platforming with friends, and I think the idea of putting Sonic characters over that and adding costumes over time and new modes and new levels is awesome. Now, the rumor is that it's only going to be on mobile, which is kind of disappointing because I would like something like that on console. Next up, I want a proper turn-based RPG. Now, yes, Sonic Chronicles exists, but we refuse to talk about it. I would love a 2D Sonic RPG or 3D Sonic RPG in the vein of a Mario Luigi or even a Paper Mario, where you have certain attacks that you have to do to rhythm-based movements or just remembering patterns. Like, something like that I think would go so hard for Sonic, especially with a franchise that's so well known for QTEs, quick time events and stuff. I just think we've seen so many fan animations over the years that have combined this idea in there, as well as just people loving turn-based games. Would be incredible if they made it sprite-based or hand-drawn. I think a Sonic RPG that's really well done today could be something that's really fucking cool. Especially, I mean, they could get Atlas to help them on the team. They can get the Yakuza team to help them. Like, they've worked with developers at Sega that know how to make these kind of games. I think it would be a no-brainer for a series like Sonic. I would even love a platform fighter for Sonic. I feel like that cast would be really well with that. And one last genre I wanted to mention that I feel like would be really cool for Sonic is a roguelike. We've seen a lot of roguelikes today, whether it's Splatoon Side Order or Hades or even, what's it called? Not Hollow Knight. What's the other one I'm thinking of? Stuff like Rogue Legacy. Like, roguelikes have taken over the world in a lot of genres, and something like that for Sonic, I think could work really well. I love the idea of, you know, starting a run, maybe you're a little bit slower in speed and you're getting certain upgrades, right? You get to upgrade your speed, you get to upgrade certain attacks, you get certain moves, and the more you go down a dungeon, the more difficult things get, the more upgrades you have. That sort of risk reward mentality that comes with roguelikes would be so sick, I find, for a Sonic game. And I feel like that genre is just really good for replay value in general. I think that would be so fucking sick. So another one I would really like, and I know they've kind of dived into this with physical Sonic cards, I would love a proper digital Sonic card game. We are seeing everyone have one of these. We most recently have one with Dragon Ball Fusion World. We've had one with, you know, Master Duel out there. We are seeing some with Pokemon come out. Like, I would adore a proper Sonic card game, especially with how prominent Sonic art is with the series. Like, how much Yueka does art for the series, or the different artists that work on the Sonic channel are. Like, I feel like art for Sonic is so synonymous with the series that giving us a proper trading card game that would be fun with over-the-top animation stuff would be so fucking sick, and I would love something like that. I would invest the shit out of that. Genuinely, I would spend so much money. Like, please, Sega, don't waste your money, man. Please do it. And those are the most notable genres for Sonic I could think of. Guys, let me know if there's something I am missing, something you would like to see from this series. And of course, I love you. I will see you all next time. Peace out.